back to the Greener Lawn. Today I'm going to be putting down 10 gallons worth of C1 from CarbonOne onto my lawn. I'm going to be using a fertigation system. It is a system that waters it in through the sprinkler system. Stay tuned. So what we're doing is we are hooking up this valve right here. It's going to have an in and out flow to take and put product in through a tank versus having to do backpack sprays. This is an advanced technique. This does take a little bit more in-depth knowledge, but it is something that a homeowner could set up. This whole piece right here costs 30 to 40 bucks altogether, all in, so that you can do this application on it. I will show you the rest of the tank as we get it set up. All right, so we've installed the pipe. So what I've done is attached it to this piece of line on both sides, and then we have these lines that are running up. What I've set up in my yard is a fertigation system. What it is a system that you hook up to your sprinkler system, and it draws water from the side where the sprinkler line is coming in. It comes up into this holding container right here. It then mixes with the product, and the product that I have running through it is the C1 product from CarbonOne. I am putting down 10 gallons worth of this in my lawn. I can have extremely good coverage using this type of a setup versus me hand doing it, and it will take less of my time after I have set this system up. So what I'm going to be doing is filling it up, and then I'm going to be using it. Down and in here, this is the side over here where the water comes in from, and it's going this way. This side over here is where the water will return back and in. What I do is I take and I kind of kick that knob in that position that it's in. All the way open is fully open. I put a little bit of back pressure so that the PSI is higher on this side so that it feeds up and into the system right here. It goes and mixes in the system, and then it comes out in this line right here and feeds the sprinkler system. That's how this system works. It's very simplistic. It's just a PSI change. It's higher PSI to lower PSI. The difference in PSI being higher on this side, lower on this side, is what draws it in and brings it through. So now when I flip these two switches, I get a pressurizing of the tank, and then you see that return line just went dark. So now it's feeding the product in, and it's going to be feeding it to the sprinkler system. Is that I'm feeding in quite a bit of product so that I can put it out really quickly over my lawn. I'm going to be putting in 10 gallons worth of this product, C1, CarbonOne, down into my lawn in the next day. I'm trying to get a response out of it that is a different response than most people are looking for at this time of year. I want to see if I can make this more lush, more thick, more full on CarbonOne. So yes, it is a very, very, very high amount of product going down, so that's why I chose to do a direct injection through my sprinkler system using this. But normally, I would just use my backpack sprayer, spray it down and in, or an ortho hose end sprayer to spray it on, getting it down with a good water concentration, putting it over our lawns. So that's the reason why you can see over there that my sprinklers are running during the day, is that I'm getting this product down and in. I'm gonna be doing 6 10-minute cycles, and I'm trying to get 10 gallons worth of product pushed through on this at that point in time. This one has received no CarbonOne at all over here. Right. That one is plain CarbonOne, and this was the heavy hit over here.
Yep, ready to go?
Yep, we're good to go. What is it that we're doing right now?
We're gonna look at the root system. Getting the soil wet, it'll fall off of the roots.
So before we walk away from it, this one right here is just fertilizer. This has had no CarbonOne on it at all. The one that he just currently put in there was the one that we just pulled from inside the yard that's had that heavy hit of CarbonOne.
Sorry. So if you look at the root system, they look very similar. Let's see how flimsy, and you kind of have to get a feel for this, how flimsy this is between each of the crowns.
Oh yeah, that's not woven at all. That's pretty thin.
And if you look at this right here, it is very, very thick.
That is super thick.
And if
crazy thick.
If we pull, if we can, pull a couple crowns out here. How we compare. There's one crown. There's another. There's another. And then you'll be able to feel the difference just in weight. But if we, let's go in a little bit, get a crown in here.
So that was a lot easier to tear too.
Oh yeah.
You can hear it.
Nitrogen pushes foliage, doesn't push root system. And where it does provide an energy source, it doesn't push a lot of root mass at all. And contrary to popular belief, so does phosphorus. Phosphorus doesn't push roots either. But that's two crowns. So again, you can see that is one crown. That's one crown versus nitrogen. Let's take the best three of those and compare the difference. So crowns. And then you gotta fill that with that hand. Okay. And then fill that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more mass than that.
And they were the same size. We dug them out. We got the dirt out. This one does have a little mud still connected to it. But the sheer density.
Well, being able to just plain out and see through the difference of the top of this, like how sparse this is down and through there. As I pull it back, there's no structure down in here. It's just very thin. It's very sparse compared to this right here, which is, holy crap, look at the density between those two. Look at how sparse this is on this side, and look at how thick this is on this side. How small these blades are versus how thick these blades are. Same cultivar, has never had anything different, and it's only been about 3.5, almost 4 weeks now between the difference of these two plants right here. This one didn't receive CarbonOne. This one had some nitrogen applied in the form of ammonium sulfate and CarbonOne. It had a very hard hit of CarbonOne, but if it was just a nitrogen source, this would be doing the exact same thing. This right here, the lushness, the thickness, the difference in the whole structure of the plant is hugely different. This wasn't this full. They were both about the exact same thickness. They look the same thickness when I'm looking at them outside of it. Like you look at that, they look the same, but that right there is not the same as that right there. Like there is so much more density that goes on this side.
So grown in late September and October.
Correct.
When it was freezing. Not the time to make roots grow.
No, we actually hit in the low teens a couple of weeks back when we first did this, like shortly after, and it still has green to it. It hasn't gone dormant. You can look at my neighbor's yards. This still has color. This is still growing. It's still doing what it's supposed to. This is a lot different than anybody else's lawns. So CarbonOne actually has performed in my lawn pretty well. It was put down at a late time in the season when we were cooling off, when the temperatures really came down. So did I see the full effects of what CarbonOne can do? No, not exactly. Is it something that I'm seeing improvements in my lawn? Yes, I am seeing improvements. As you saw from the video, I saw fuller thickness, I saw less thatch, I saw a lot of different areas coming to life. It was kind of weird. The reason why I had to add some nitrogen was because it depleted it really quickly, the sources in my lawn. I use a low nitrogen schedule, so I actually had to add nitrogen because I watched it start to yellow it out. It is something I have seen when I've applied high potassium before, and I've watched my lawn yellow a little bit, but then it rebounds after the root growth. But on this, it was depleting the nitrogen sources just enough that I had to add that nitrogen kick in there with it. It's not a standalone product. It is something that is a partner product with all these other things, as it does something completely different. I will be using this CarbonOne as a source in my lawn. I will still be using my other products that I've currently been using, but as far as CarbonOne is concerned, it does serve a really good purpose. It growing long roots, healthier turf, thickens it up, gets rid of the thatch layer, makes the lawn look a lot nicer. It's not a cheap application. It is a little bit more expensive, but if used correctly, it will definitely take your lawn to another level. So this week's question is do you guys use specialized products like CarbonOne in your lawn to attack certain issues and problems that you are seeing? Is it something that you guys like to do? Or do you guys just like to stay with the traditional step programs and then just not really have to flex outside those programs? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. I'm Jeremy of The Greener Lawn. Make her green.